what is actually happening when we lift our leg to passe. Often I hear dancers say what they know not to do. Don't lift the hip, don't grip the quad, don't use the hip flexor. Let me help you clear up some of this and give you some exercises to work on. Before we break it down, let's talk about what muscles engage when we lift into a passe. Your hamstrings, quads, hip flexors, deep hip stabilizers, glutes, and the entire standing leg body. Now, because we're lifting the leg, the quad and the hip flexors are doing most of the work. When we lift the leg and it's going into turnout, we're getting the deep hip stabilizers that engage as well. As we lift a passe, it's a mishmash of things that are happening at varying degrees. But as I pull into a bent knee coupe position, my hamstring is engaging, creating some support from underneath. As I lift my leg into a passe, it is your quad and hip flexors that are lifting the leg up. As I want to turn my leg out more, it's my deep hip stabilizers which are pulling the leg out to the side. It's really important to note that everything works together, and rarely does doing a single joint exercise make a drastic improvement, but knowing what you're engaging can help you make improvements in your technique. So if you want to think about what aspect you may be wanting to improve, here's a small little cheat sheet for you. If you want your foot to get higher, focus on your hamstring. If you want your thigh to get higher, focus on your hip flexor and quad exercises. And if you want to not twist off your standing leg, focus on your deep hip stabilizers and your core engagement to hold you square. And a little nudge in the right direction would be checking out this video about turnout, because so many dancers tell me that they are getting corrections that they're overusing their hip flexors, or it feels really grippy, achy, stabby here, there. Now, let me take you through a little setup of how I like to think about cueing my passe. I'd like you to hold on to something so you don't have to worry about your balance. But you're gonna start with a really easy turned out standing leg. Like, don't make that your big focus. Find a super easy standing leg, and then bring your foot into a coupe, and let's demi-plie on our standing leg. Now I want you to bring your coupe leg into parallel. One of the mistakes I made and so many dancers make is we think about where the knee is gonna end up. And when we do that, we kind of pull off of our standing leg and we're not really using our turnout muscles. So I want you to think about your deep hip stabilizers, your turnout muscles, whatever you want to call them, pulling your thigh bone open. And I'm talking about just this top part of your thigh bone. The knee will follow. Think about the top of the thigh pulling into the turned out feeling, not position. When you feel some activity here, you can go back and forth between parallel and turnout activity, and we don't have to worry about the standing leg first. Now, after you've felt this or ready to move on, go ahead and straighten your standing leg and feel your pinky toe pressing through the floor. Now with that pinky toe, now I can feel my knee being pulled, I'm gonna face this way, being pulled out as my foot pulls up. I find that sometimes when we try to get the knee higher in a passe, we think so much about the knee being pulled up like a string, which I do like that imagery, but there's also some length that needs to happen in the hip. And that length happens from the knee pushing out at the angle of your turnout. So I'm not thinking about my knee pushing back, but where my turnout is, straight out from that angle, I'm giving a little push out and I'm pulling my foot up, kind of like I'm drawing up a straw. That feeling can create space in the hip and give a little more work in the hamstring. Sometimes dance teachers will say lift from under the leg or lift from the hamstring. That's not anatomically correct. You are still using your hip flexor and your quad, but having a better balance sometimes of the hamstring doing a little more work can offload what you might be feeling if your hip flexor feels really grippy or tight. So as I'm working on getting my passe higher, I'm kind of coupling two things together. I'm thinking about my hamstring and my foot pulling into coupe together. So I'm feeling my hamstring engage and my foot pulling in. And as I'm pulling up, I'm hamstring and foot, hamstring and foot. And if I want to get my quad, passe, higher or more turned out, I like to couple those two, quad and turnout muscles together. So as my knee lifts, I'm feeling turn out from the glute and lifting, deep hip stabilizers and lifting. So I've kind of put the back of the leg and my foot together, and then the top of my leg and my glute area together to work. And maybe the last thing that I see from dancers as we're trying to increase that passe is that as we lift our leg, we start to collapse towards that lifted leg. And maybe this has been you where you kind of look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, why does this look wrong? Butt's going back, you're kind of twisting towards. This can be because our core is not supporting or doing its job. We've all been told to have a strong core. I know. What does that really mean? It's not about looking like you have a strong core or about having a six-pack. I have come to realize that core is about being supported and it functioning well so you can do your activities. Now, this video is not about exercises, but just a little bit of knowledge for you, just a little bit of thought. So as you lift into your passe, you can think about these crossbody bands, kind of like bungee cords. Two bungee cords that go from opposite hip to opposite rib, and then on the other side as well. Even though we might be collapsing this way, I still like to think about the band from one rib to that lifted hip, and then I really think about the lifted rib to the other hip, and I think about how I can get those tensioned and long. So I'm not letting it win, but I am creating a really strong rubber band feeling. And when I can keep that connection here, makes my standing leg and passe feel a little bit easier. So I will be posting more videos with exercises to help you build strength for a better passe. So do check in the corner or the link below in a few weeks, and drop your questions in the comments below so that I can answer them there, or I can create some videos to help you out. If you liked this video, hit the like button and be sure to come follow me at Align Fitness by Ali for more tips, exercises, and things for adult dancers.